Hi, travelers. Tara here. I'm going to be doing a quick reading on the possible impeachment, 25th Amendment, and the next 9 days. I do have with me the tarot, the Lost Tarot of Nostradamus. I just wrote up my question. I just got in and was able to get a bit of lunch. I had some errands I had to run early this morning. So we're going to mark the time now as 1:58 p.m. on 11 January 2021. And the question, what is the energy surrounding impeachment, 25th, and the next 9 days? There is lots of, I think, fear because people are not quite sure what is going to happen. There's lots of chatter going around on the internet and social media sites, even those, I don't know, dark sites, which certain elements of humankind can tend to find their way to. So I've already done a bit of shuffling on this and meditation on this question. So what I'm going to do is to pull 3 cards. And then if you'll give me an opportunity to mark them down, just write out the names of the cards, and then I will we'll go into the reading. I hope everyone is well. I don't know about you, but I'm a little flabbergasted that we're already into the second week of January 2021. It's gonna fly by. It really is. At breakneck speed, I do feel. I just hope it's not as jarring as 2020. God, what a nightmare, right? So, lots of things were happening. I was not able to see, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around, to see anything that took place, if it did take place. And so I normally watch C-SPAN because they usually will carry hearings, all day throughout the day. When I was a court reporter, that's how I learned to pick my speed up in court reporting, was watch C-SPAN all day. So, yeah, well, okay, so here we go. We're going to pull 3 cards to see what Nostradamus might be able to tell us. We have the 4 of Moons. The 9 of Spheres. Oh, and that is chock full of astrology, my friends. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Okay. That is chock full of astrology. And I will have, if you follow me on Twitter, you can find my Twitter handle in the About Box section. Typically when these things come up, Jessica Adams will help me decipher the astrology, because it's a lot of it that I'm not aware of. A lot of, I don't know, ancient things and things that I can't see. So this is 2 sets of eyes here. And the last card, well, what do you know? That funky little knight that showed up. Remember in the last reading, I pulled him as an extra card. And what do we have over the top? And that, my friends, is the Knight of Sons. And we have the Emperor over, the top of the reading. I think that's quite interesting here, this Emperor. Because we do know that number 45 wants to believe he is an emperor. So, I think if I had to pick a card here, it would be this card in the center that's chock full of this astrology, because the water bearer, Aquarius, is on the first house. Down there. I don't know if you can, let me put my little, I don't know if you can, now it's like too glary, right? I don't know if you can see that, but right there, where's my pencil? This house right there, the glyph is Aquarius on that card. Right there on that, where is it? Right there. Okay? Now, I don't necessarily see that there's a planet there in that particular sign. So, I don't know. And we do see this figure standing facing that direction along with this weird creature on his shoulder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the quatrains. And first let me write down my cards. Or better yet, it'd be easier if I just take a picture of it. Then I have a record of it, right? And there. Now, let's get to the quatrains. The Four of Moons, and I so hope that my what do you call it, Roman numeral counting is right. For some reason, just the numbers kind of throw me off in this book, but it's definitely not the 6, it is the 4. Well, forgeries of gold and silver multiply. Let me put it there. So that after their seizure, they are thrown in the lake. The card represents someone who has reached the top of the ladder of success and is no longer sure what lies ahead. The resultant falling away of enthusiasm and the loss of direction makes it a difficult place to be. Here, the figure seems less positive, despite being balanced by the power of the pen, the banner with the cross keys. Perhaps the threatening serpent approaching from his left side, and in old alchemical, the left side is the more sinister side, can account for this. Well, the key words are weariness, dejection, boredom, satisfaction, affliction, bitterness, and being stuck. And it's interesting because we have a major arcana, a moon, which represents the cups, a sphere, which represents the coins, and a sun, which represents the wands. The only thing that's not here would be the stars, which would represent the swords. So now we go to the 9 of spheres. This is interesting. The card says, the great one will be the captain of the world. No other will be more loved, proclaimed, or so feared. This speaks about a comet, the Great Comet of 1577. Here the figure stands in an attitude of wonder, lost in contemplation of the significance of the fiery comets. The upright is achievement, consequence, maturity, realization, contentment. I didn't read you the reverse of that. Now I will do that. I'll go back. The reverse of this is deceit, guilt, theft, disappointment, overindulgence, and a swindler. And finally, we come to this Knight of Suns again. He will leap to such high-flown deeds, he will have no equal in the hierarchy. This card represents Cesare Borgia, perhaps the most famous of the Borgia family. He is remembered more as a murderer than as the fine soldier he undoubtedly was. Nostradamus reputedly prophesied the fall of Caesar in quatrain 1014. He shall be convicted at the Carthusian convent of Barcelona. Cesare's skill as a soldier was undoubted, and he is the only recorded person to resign his position as a cardinal in order to take over the papal armies. At their head, he waged a very successful series of campaigns, and his subtlety makes him a mirror for the Knight of Sons. The upright is separation, departure, flight, distance, journey, abandonment, evasion, moving into the unknown, disunity, misunderstanding, estrangement, dissension, and unexpected changes. Now I'm going to go back and read the reverse of this Four of Moons. And what I feel that the cards are telling me is that he will be leaving, but he is already in a position of power even when he leaves. And I'll explain what I mean by that. This speaks to weariness, dejection, boredom, dissatisfaction, affliction, bitterness, and being stuck. The reverse speaks to novelty, new knowledge, a sign, premonition, and foreboding. I think the key to this reading really are these three cards in combination with each other. Here is the Emperor. And the Emperor says, he will raise up the humble and harry the rebels. No one will be his equal. Now, this is a reference to both Napoleon and or French King Henry V. The upright is stability, authority, fatherhood, intellect, solidarity, forward movement, law, reason, conviction, male authority, and accomplishment. However, the reverse speaks to instability, authoritarianism, misuse of power, tyranny, stubbornness, and immaturity. And I think we do know that the Emperor that we have in the White House at this particular moment meets all of the descriptions of the reverse card. So for me, what the cards are saying to me is that 45 is stuck. He is being presented with three options. You can either resign, we will either impeach you, or we will institute the 25th Amendment. I don't feel necessarily that the cards are giving me enough information to say whether he will be impeached or whether the 25th Amendment will be put in place. He will not resign. This is certain. And he is fighting the impeachment. He's already getting together his legal defense team. So this is not a person who loses gracefully. He is not a person to concede, okay? I also feel that there's a second message here with this last card, particularly that, again, there's some way that either those people who, his army, so to speak, I heard someone referring to them like that the other day. The supporters are calling them his army. I think it was Frank Figliuzzi over on MSNBC. And it might not have been him. It could have been somebody else. But who was saying that, you know, he can activate these people at any time that he so chooses. And he doesn't necessarily have to be the president anymore. As I stated in the last, I think it was the November 14th reading, this is about his ego. It's not about necessarily him staying in the White House because he can't be prosecuted. That's one. But what we're dealing with now is we're dealing with somebody who is, let's say, completely intoxicated on power. And so this is the idea that people will listen to him. Yeah? Those people absolutely love and adore him. They think he can do no wrong, and he has the power to command them. All right. And so this is what this is saying to me. This is what this emperor is saying. Somehow or another, I think he is still communicating with those people who love him, the mob, and I'm going to call them the mob. He's explaining to them what he wants done. Okay? He understands that he still has, in effect, the power and the authority, the ability to command, to write, to say, to speak, to communicate. But over here, we have this serpent on the left. He knows for a fact that there are lots of people out gunning for him. Yes? The interesting thing about serpents is that serpents can not only be dangerous, but they speak to a transformation or a transmutation of a situation. Now, I don't know what the significance is of the 1577 comet. I don't even know the name of it. I don't know if there were any events that happened around it. But most definitely, I feel that going into the next 9 days, we have just had Saturn and Jupiter move into the sign of Aquarius. And so there is going to be, he's not done. I think he's gazing back or looking over. You know, they say he has TiVo. And I think he's going back over his TiVo and he's watching this attack on the democracy on Capitol Hill over and over and over again. And it pleases him. It pleases him to no end. Let me see what else. There's something that this card is also trying to tell me. I feel what is most relevant is the quatrain of the Knight of Suns. Let me go back to see if this Spheres card will tell me a bit more. The Nine of Spheres. In the reverse, the character of the card is predictably bad. Deceitfulness, overindulgence in everything, and feelings of disappointment may disguise the presence of a swindler and a thief. Be wary of partnerships that go wrong and of the consequences of your actions, both good and bad. I was trying to see if they were explaining to me this little figure, this winged figure. It looks somewhat like a bat or a monkey, a winged monkey. Well, for some reason, when I said that, what do you call it? The movie? We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay. That kind of a thing. He has not, the wizard has, on one hand, the curtain has been removed and we see him for who he is. But there are others who, even though they've seen who he is, they don't care. And I feel the key to this reading is this one. Again, the cards are not giving me enough information to say that the impeachment will go through. It's going to be 3 days this time, but literally I think there's going to be an uphill battle. He's not going to resign. But I think what this card in the center is telling me is that the overindulgence in everything. I feel that because he's not done, I don't think Mike Pence will have a choice ultimately but to invoke the 25th. That's my prediction. So what we may be looking at is even 3 days after they do the articles of impeachment, let's say that they pass, he still has, 5 more days? At the moment, he's still doing some stuff. I just had a notice come across where he has just now put Cuba on the list of terrorists, making it difficult for the incoming administration to do any negotiations with them. let's see. Trump administration plans to add Cuba to the list of state-sponsored terrorism. And now, just a moment ago, 15,000 National Guard members could be deployed in D.C. during the inauguration. This is the key. And the only thing this card is telling me at the moment is there is some planned violence. There will be confrontations during the inauguration. I think there could also be some violence when he leaves the White House. But this card says separation, departure, flight, distance, journey, abandonment, evasion, and moving into the unknown. He will leap to such high-flown deeds that he will have no equal in the hierarchy. Well, we could say that he thinks that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the things that he has done literally means there will never be another in his equal in this light in terms of the president and the acts that he has incited or committed, had his finger in, touched the scale. None of the stuff that he's done, there will never be an equal to him. So literally, it's like the universe broke the mold when they made this guy, okay? And he has come in to probe and push all of the boundaries of what makes this country a democracy. And thus far, it has held. But he is not done. And this is what this keeps telling me. He will leave the White House. I have no idea how. The cards are not giving me an indication of how. But we already know for a fact that he's not going to resign. We know that he has a legal team to fight the, the impeachment, which, and even if they do impeach him, the other half of the body of the legislative body on the House, the Senate side, are not willing to remove him. I honestly feel that he's going to do something else so outrageous, so beyond the pale, between when they introduce the articles tomorrow and they go through the actual impeachment and right up until the 20th of November, that he will become the only president in the United States history to have not only been impeached twice, but to also have the 25th Amendment invoked upon him. And then he will leave that White House. He's leaving no matter what. But I feel that this is an indication that he's going to have to be removed. Even though it refers to Cesare Borgia as resigning, he resigned not to go away forever. He resigned to take a higher position, to put him into a position of more power, because now he was in command of the papal armies. He resigned from being pope to become the commander of the armies. And I feel, as I stated in the last video that I posted, I don't know, was that last week? And I was saying to you guys, as long as that man has breath in his body and the money to get his message out, he is going to do so. And so, if you came here to see if the cards would tell you that there's something else in the works with Donald Trump. And the reason why I say this is it's the flag that the papal figure's holding. Flags make announcements. They are banners. They are they provide messages. When you see the flag of America, what does that mean? When you see the flag of the Union Jack, what does that mean? When you see the flag of Japan, what does that mean? You're signaling your pride of country. You are identifying with where you come from. It says, hey, this is who we are. This is where we're from. Those two keys on that flag represent some type of secret knowledge. And I feel that he is signaling somehow his base in another way. I don't know how. I don't know why. I do feel that what I'm seeing is this, like a cable, like some kind of connection, some kind of plugged in thing. And I do feel that those in the intelligence agencies already know about this. This could be why they are planning to go ahead and activate the 15,000 National Guard. Again, as I said to you guys, DC is a federal district, right? It's not a state. It doesn't have a governor. It has a mayor and it has the president. And in order for the troops to be called out in that area, because it is strictly federal property, that has to come from the president. So I stand by my statement that Mike Pence activating the National Guard, calling out for them, even though it took them 5 hours to get there, that was a whole nother story. People were putting up roadblocks to having them come. They wouldn't authorize it. And that was Mike Pence, in effect, saying the president has lost control. He can no longer perform his duties. And so he took control of that situation. So that informal 25th is still in place. And I do feel that he is going to do something else, say something else, attempt something else, to where Mike Pence will have no choice. I think Mike Pence is trying to give him the room and the space to leave office gracefully. But the man sick the mob. They were hollering, "Bring us Pence." They were going to snatch him up, hang him from the tree in the Capitol courtyard as a traitor. So I think Mike Pence is very well aware of the kind of person he's dealing with. I think he's always known, but I think the real, let's say that I think Mike Pence not only pulled the curtain back and now sees what it is, but he's also naked now. He knows exactly what he's dealing with, even though he's been naked for a long time to many of us. Yeah, the emperor's been without clothes for a long time. People see what they want to see, and they can make justifications for why something is the way that it is. I think what's most important is that what is going to happen with those Republican Congress members who are still frightened. The pressure is mounting. The pressure is building. Companies and corporations are pulling their money out from donations to their campaigns. The PGA just pulled all of their competitions off of any Trump golf courses. Several companies just announced that they're not going to donate any more money to the Republican senators who have been standing by and saying nothing. So pressure is mounting. And I think the more the pressure mounts, the more desperate 45 is going to become. So rest assured, or not rest assured, know that he's not done. And I think he has one more trick up his sleeve before this is all over. Now, once he leaves office, he becomes a private citizen. And then all bets are off from there. Personally, if it were me, I wouldn't bother to file any criminal charges. I'd just stick the IRS on him and take everything he has. Okay? Because once you take away his money, you really have taken away his power. There's nothing else he can do. And so, that's what I would do. But, other minds are doing whatever they're doing. And so I want you to still to keep an eye out on this. I don't think this is done. The last I heard, 2-3 days ago, a source came out and said that Pence has not taken the 25th Amendment off the table. He's saving it in case he really needs it. And Mike Pence is between a rock and a hard place. But you know what? He put himself there, so I don't have no sympathy for him. I think I find what's most interesting about this entire situation is the fact that these politicians, these guys that we elect to go represent us, are afraid of losing their jobs. When over millions, 10 million people have lost their jobs since April of last year, but yet they're afraid to do the right thing because they don't want to be unemployed. So I think that's kind of funny. And I think if you looked at it like that, right? Because if you pulled some of the antics that these guys have done at your job, you'd have been on the damn unemployment line for a long time and couldn't get another job, right? So, switch it around a little bit and see how that would work if you were doing some of the crap that they were doing. That's what I have to say. I don't think this is over. I do feel that literally 2 impeachments and a 25th Amendment. And I told my mom this, I want to say back in October of last year. We were on the phone and I said, you watch what I tell you. I said, he's not only going to get a second impeachment, I said, he's going to get the 25th Amendment on him too. So therefore, there will be no one equal to him in the deeds that he's done in the hierarchy ever. That one will go down in the history books. So that's what I have for you. I'm sorry it's not all compelling and whatnot. I'm going to shoot this over to Jessica Adams, a copy of this, to see what she can tell me about the astrology of this second card. She can see something perhaps that I can't. I'm going to send it to her over on Twitter to see what she says. So you can go over to Twitter. She's at Jessica Adams. I'm at HLT Psychic Collective. But again, just go to my About Box section to find my Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow, because we'll be posting this up a little bit later. So until next time, I will see you guys soon. I need to go take a nap. I've been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning. Love ya. Namaste. Oh, and stay tuned for the newsletter. I was up early this morning working on it. There's some great stuff coming up with Jessica Adams, Penny Thornton. Let me see who else. She gave me the whole list of names here, and I'm feeling so sad that I didn't do that. Kyra Oster, Stephanie Johnson, Seeing with Stars. Penny Thornton is one of the world's greatest astrologers. She was astrologer for Diana, Princess of Wales. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening on YouTube and at Meetup with Jessica. I'm going to be participating. So I'll be sending out that newsletter. Go over to Jessica, look her up here on YouTube, Jessica Adams, find her channel, go ahead and subscribe. And then I'm going to be sending you out the newsletter with the dates. The times are still to be determined, but I'll definitely give you the dates and everything, explain to you what's happening. If you have not signed up for my newsletter, you can go to hiddenlotustarot.com. Up on the top box, it says sign up for the free newsletter. It's up in the right-hand corner. Sign up. And so I will see you guys soon. Until next time, namaste.